Hello and welcome to Deck Techs with LadyLavinias. In this one, we are going to be looking at a deck called You Needed a God. It is a God tribal deck, which is a lot of fun. It is a 5-color mess of cards, but a lot of fun. So in this one, all we need to do in order to make this work, we primarily use the World Tree. The World Tree says it enters the battlefield tapped. And as long as you control 6 more lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color, and then paying double Warburg, and tap it, you can sacrifice it and search any number of god cards and put them onto the battlefield. So the idea behind this deck is we want to get our Mirari's Wake out as fast as possible. Mirari's Wake says, whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land would produce. So the idea is to get all of those 5 colors out, get the Mirari's Wake out, and then be able to duplicate that mana so that we can pop the World Tree and get all of these different gods that we have in the deck out onto the battlefield all at once in an explosion of opponent's death. So it is a lot of fun. There's a lot of different types of gods, but it doesn't always work. There's a lot of pieces, but it's a lot of fun, and we're gonna see how it goes today. It is very explosive. I do have consistent wins on turn 5 and 6. It's been pretty good on that. I have yet to get a turn 4. That would be like the perfect thing, but turn 5 we've had decently amount of them when we're practicing these, so let's see if we can do it again. Alright, so we don't have some of our pieces we want. We do have a temple, and we have a Paradise Druid, so I'm going to go with this, even though we have a god that we really don't want in our hand. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Please take the god. Probably take Iska, I would assume. Alright, so again, not wanting to draw. Drawing gods is bad for us, right? We don't want to see any of them. But let's see what we can do here. Alright, so let's get our Paradise Druid going first. Now we have Path of the World Tree that says when it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land and reveal it, so I can get any color I need there. It has a nice little second ability as well. We drew another Iska anyway. Sometimes you just get there. Okay, so let's go cultivate. Let's make sure that we get this, and we want plains? Yes. Because we do have already a swamp. We will say no attacks. Looks like it is a mono black deck. So we can also get the Prismatic Bridge. So Iska's other side says at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top cards until you reveal a creature or planeswalker. So obviously one of these gods is going to go. I don't really care about them because they're not very important to our deck. We want to get them explosive and not just play them. Alright, as weird as this is, we actually do have enough for the Prismatic Bridge, so we will be playing it here. And passing our turn. So not what we want to do, we want to see the Mirari's Wake or the World Tree, but this is a good backup in case to use any of these gods. Okay, opponent is just gone. They know, they've seen the deck before, or a different version of this, and they just don't really want to deal with it. That's fair. we were going to be doing the things that we want to do anyway, so I'm fine with that. Let's try again. It is a very powerful deck. Again, having that 5 mana enchantment on the battlefield that just cheats in gods off the top is really strong, and I don't blame people for not wanting to see it. Alright, so we have our Mirari's Wake, but we have 3 gods, which is not what we want to see, as well as no playable mana, so we will mulligan this. Wow, this is much better. Okay, so not only do we get the World Tree, Paradise Druid, Mirari's Wake, everything we need, we actually get to put a god back into the deck, which is exactly what we want to do. We also have a temple here as well. So very, very good starting opening hand. We're just waiting on opponent to decide if they want to keep. But what we'll be doing, so we'll be throwing the Torolith back into the deck. I'm going to probably play the temple first to make sure I can scry. And then we'll get our Paradise Druid into our Cultivate, into our Mirari's Wake. And that should be enough by then to be able to deal with it. And be able to hopefully pop the World Tree on turn 5, it looks like, if everything goes well. Alright, let's check out our opponent, who's just chilling. Opponent, I have a really, really nice hand that I would like to play. Anyway, so we have with the World Tree, so we can sacrifice, because Mirari's Wake doubles it, by the time that we do have that, we'll also probably have 6 different types of mana. We will either need a Chromatic Lantern, or we will need to get 6 lands onto the battlefield by themselves. I don't know if opponent queued up and is now not here. They're having issues. Really like to play this hand. Really nice. Opponent. Alright, I'm gonna keep it. We're throwing it back. I don't know if they're here, but here we are. Lands are good at this point. Please, opponent, I really like this hand. I really, really like this hand. There they are! There they are. Nice. Oh, they are playing mono white as well. Alright, so let's get out our Paradise Druid first. So they're gonna go pretty quickly because this looks like it's going to be a Pridemate deck. It is. Alright, so we're gonna be taking a little bit of damage here, but that's okay. This out. Here. And that, so we need blue. Alright. So next turn we will be able to get our Mirari's Wake. Pridemate is gonna do some damage, so we don't have that long. We need to do this pretty quickly. Alright. So, now we have everything we need. We just need a turn. So that was, quickly, we went first, so that is it'll be turn 5. It'll be a turn 5 win. We don't need this Paradise Druid any longer, thankfully. We get double there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. The World Tree, pop this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And there it all is. There's all the gods. And they all have haste because of Perforos. And that's game. So we have things like Ronus to double all of the power, so even if they blocked, I have way more than 23 on the battlefield, even if they block the two biggest things. We have the Perforos to give everything haste once it comes on the board. We have God Internal Ronus to double everything. We have some flyers. We have just about everything. It looks like opponent is just trying to figure out what just happened. But there it is. So block and one more block. Yep, sure. Good game. We actually, Heliod was not a creature, because Atheros was in our hand, so this is only a 4 and not a 5 to turn it on. So it is minus 57 damage, even with the double blocks. Unfortunately, Atheros was in our hand. But normally you would also have those two gods. Okay, well, so that's a good hand. That's exactly what the deck is trying to do, is to get that explosion as fast as possible. That was a turn 5 win. And let's try to see if we can do it again. Alright, so not a great hand. We do have the chromatic, but too many gods in hand. We do not want this. Much better. Now, we do not have our world tree. However, we have enough. We have chromatic lantern, so it should be okay. I will keep this even though it's not ideal, because at worst case scenario we do have the prismatic bridge since we do have the chromatic lantern in hand. It is a Luris mono black deck again. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Okay, so Iska's probably gonna go. It could also just be the chromatic lantern, but I think it's probably Iska. Oh wow. That is not what I was expecting. So that means that they probably do have a second Thoughtseize or another way to make me discard. Or just, okay. I'm actually gonna go Cultivate here. It sets it up so I can guarantee I have the planes, as well as I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm worried about the chromatic lantern dying. We'll go an island. We'll put this into the battlefield. Okay, so the Dreadhorde with the Thoughtseize, So I'm 1 away from the Mirari's Wake. They also, could just go the God Tree, because that's you're gonna have that deal with that problem eventually with the chromatic lantern. That's probably the choice. I would tend to agree, opponent. But both of them were pretty bad for you. I think I'm probably gonna lose my Mirari's Wake. Alright, I'm actually gonna lose the island because we do have the chromatic. I'll take 3. I might lose the Mirari's Wake in another way, but it's gonna be through straight up discard. Wow, double! Ooh, I love that. Nice, with the claim. Alright, well, I have to throw the Mirari's Wake out then. And then we will get that chromatic. Unfortunately, we drew a chromatic after. That is brutal. But it still was the best choice. We're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer. So that Kroxa is going to come back down, likely. This is gonna be a tough one. Double claim, so that's... How many times does Kroxa hit us? Unfortunately, we have to wait a little longer. They made us discard a bunch of stuff that we need. And Kroxa again. So Kroxa is going to be able to come down each and every turn. For 3. Another chromatic. Very unfortunate for us. Alright. In that case, I'm probably going to have to hold the chromatic back just to drop down with Kroxa. There it is again. I really like this combo with the Lurrus and the Kroxa. It is an interesting combo that I haven't really seen. It does mean we're only taking 1 that turn, which is nice. Okay, there's the World Tree. One, two, three, four, 5. We do not have our Mirari's Wake to make everything double, though. So it is going to be a while until the World Tree can actually do anything for us. So we drop down for 3, so we go to 7. And then this is 6. That Kroxa is like bouncing all around. It's like, it's just doing, it's like jumping on a trampoline right now. Alright. Yeah, if I had gotten the Mirari's Wake, I would have drawn those chromatics, and then with the World Tree, I would have just been able to win the game straight out. Wow. How many times can you bring Kroxa in? That's kind of impressive. Creature. Dealt non-combat, and then attach that. I'm super far away from that. We're just gonna have to wait. So Kroxa is gonna get that out of my hand for a turn. I am just dead. Okay. And double fame. Call to get that one more time so that Kroxa, I think, how many times is Kroxa? Tell me in the comments of this video how many times has Kroxa hit the field? I would love to know. Because I did not count that, so let me know in the comments. If anyone's keeping track of the amount of times that Kroxa has hit the field. That's pretty good, though. I do like the jank. Right? You're just bouncing it over and over. Not ideal, but we have the Vargoth to be able to find our pieces. We will get to be able to scry. This isn't bad, but I actually do want something else right now. We have our Sanctum as well. Since we already have Path of the World Tree, I don't really need to focus on that. Okay. Let's go with our Paradise Druid first into our Vargoth. Vargoth. Alright, 1 to the bottom from opponent. So this, hopefully, will be able to go let us find some of our pieces. Ooh, a Tetsuko. Okay, so we actually drew our Mirari's Wake, which is very, very important for us. So let's get our Vargoth out first, and then obviously can't block the Tetsuko, it's unblockable. But we need to find our world tree, so that's probably where what I'm gonna do. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and this is 5. So I could get the Murray's Wake, but I probably want to activate the Varragoth and just get that out onto the battlefield. It's a high alert deck. Oh boy. Alright, well, our time is now even shorter, so let's, instead of playing the land, there we go. Attack first. Let's go World Tree on top. Ooh, I actually messed this up. I should have gone Path first. Make sure that we got that, but that's okay. Yeah, I actually messed that one up a little bit in terms of order. However, it's okay because we still need to get this on 6. Since we don't have a Chromatic Lantern, we do need to have 6 lands on the field. So we're gonna go World Tree, tapped, Mirari's Wake, and then next turn, when we play our Sanctum, after that, we will be able to use this. We just need to survive 2 turns. She said. Oh, I can block it now. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I have to. Or I'm just dead. That actually made it so that I mean, it's crazy huge, but like... Alright, so what I think I need to do here... So it's still gonna be 2 turns now because I did have to block that, or I was just gonna take so much damage. This is Death Touch, which is nice. So I can play the Mirari's Wake this turn. Unfortunately, the World Tree does come in tapped, so I just have to, like... I still need 2 more turns. Alright, now I need a creature. Okay. Play this. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't actually matter because the World Tree now activates. Alright, so as long as I don't die to Tetsuko, that's it. I just have to hope that they're not able to kill me this turn. Here's hoping. That's great news. That means I win the game. That was a little scary, but I think it needed to be done. And there's all of the fun special effects of Arena slowly having issues. Alright. And they have haste. Please don't have us settle the wreckage. Okay, thank you. Can you imagine if they settled me right now? Okay. If they settled me, I would have deserved that. It would have been really funny too. But thankfully, somehow I got away with it. Very explosive. So we have everyone out. Notice how this time Heliod is a creature. Because we do have the God Eternal Oketra. We have Atheros this time because we did get to play that, so that combined with itself means that it gets turned on as a creature. Oh, you don't even let the damage go through? Alright, well, that's okay. It was a lot of damage. I would just like to see the amount. That's okay. So the reason that Tetsuko got to become blockable again is because Tetsuko says if a creature has 1 power or less, it is unblockable. Since they gave it all of those, the +1/+7 in instant, it then became blockable. What you need to do when you're playing Tetsuko is attack first. When opponent declares no block, or when it becomes no blockable, that's when you throw that instant onto Tetsuko, making it bigger. That was the small misplay by opponent that let me survive a turn to win that game. Alright. We have the Ice God. I don't like seeing the Locust God, but we do have the Mari's Wake. We do have 2 temples to be able to find out, and we do go first, so even though we do have the Locust God, which I don't want in my opening hand, it's not bad. So, let's see. And we now have a Chromatic. So that makes me feel much better. Alright, so we're gonna go Temple. We do not want a second Mari's Wake. Although it is a very good card. We will probably get our Chromatic in, getting closer to Prismatic Bridge as an alternative. Oh, okay, so it's another Defender deck. Alright. Let's go Chromatic first. Now we could go Path the World Tree, but I think I'm gonna save that for next turn in case I need to get closer to the Prismatic. Alright. Unfortunately, we got the God Internal Ronas. We really, really don't want to see that. That's probably one of the worst things that we could have drawn. Because it doubles all our damage that we can do. Although it's still a lot, so it should hopefully be okay. Just in case they have anything that can kill the Chromatic, I like to make sure. I will play 1 Iska, God of the World Tree, because she does tap for 1 of a color, which is very useful for us. Okay, Beldar. So they can gain 5 if they want. See if they choose to do so. They do. So I have a couple of options. I think it's probably best to get the Prismatic Bridge in first, then the Mirari's Wake. So if we go Mirari's Wake here, let's see, 1, 2, we can go our Paradise Druid, which isn't a bad thing, especially when this is going to be hitting for 5. The God is pretty good too. I think I actually do want to get the Mirari's Wake in to get the Paradise Druid in. It's a little awkward, both sides, but I would rather try to see if we can win without the Prismatic Bridge. We do have these gods that we can play now, just as blockers. So unfortunately, they do have a creature that has Vigilance, so we'll never be able just to attack with Iska and then use her ability for tap. Cavalier. No blocks. Fortunate draw for another Miraris. We actually can afford to do both, which is really awkward and weird, but not bad. Ooh. It does stop our prismatic bridge, though. Because it taps for one of that type of the same thing, and I need all 5. Does it count as the same thing? Why is it tapping that? What do I need? Red, black, green, blue. Alright. And then I think we're gonna have to go another Murray's. Okay. That was a little awkward, but I mean, we figured it out. I will block with this Paradise Druid if I need to. It can get for 1. Oh, it's 3. Alright, I will have to block. It'll make 2 little ones, but that's okay. Oh, solid footing. Okay. Well, it did its job because I would have taken 10 then. That will work for me. Alright. So we have to go, let's go Locust God first, triggering Oketra to make a 6/6. Doing this. Making another one. And let's do one more. I no longer need this, so we're gonna say it can go to Huatli. Cool. Alright. So Huatli's gone. Now you have to pay 1 green to make these. This is, again, not ideal of what we're trying to do for the deck, but it does technically work. Oh, they had another one. Alright, well. I think we're still okay. Flying creature with haste. You target loses 2 life, and it does 2 damage to target creature. You create a bear. Something else. This has like a lot of weird things. What is it actually tapping? Scarab God? Oh, okay. So they just didn't want to deal with it. They're tapping these down before, and then I can just attack. I can also trigger this to make a 4/4 out of this. It's just not good for them. That was not how I was supposed to do it, but it does work technically. Let's see if we can do it one more time. And get some of this crazy crazy god jank out there. I would like one more massive god on display punch face for X amount. I think we've gotten a little bit over 100 as our max. but it's a lot. I mean, it depends on how much we've hurt opponent before that. Alright. We have a Path, we have Scarab God, and the Purphoros. We definitely don't want the Purphoros in our hand. I know this is a decent hand because we do have the Chromatic with the Path the World Tree. However, I want to see if we can get a little bit faster pace. Alright, we have the Baragoth, so we can find things. This is a fine hand for us. I actually will put the Eska back because I think all three of these are needed more. So we're gonna go Paradise Druid into the Baragoth. We will have to use the Paradise Druid as a mana dork to tap for the Baragoth. Oh, we just found one anyway. Alright, well. Oh, wrong one. Too fast. So we could get the Chromatic in early, and we might have to with what opponent has, or we can spook them with the Baragoth. And I think I like the spooking idea. Because it does have Death Touch, so it is a problem for the elf deck. They might hold back a turn, which will be very much needed. Perfect. And we get our World Tree! Ooh, lucky! Alright, well we have all our pieces then that we need. It's gonna be a little slow. We need 2 turns. But luckily, the Baragoth now doesn't have to do anything. It can just be a blocker. You know, if we had played the Chromatic before the Baragoth, we actually would have had it on time. Which is a little sad, but fine. Alright, so we're gonna wait. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this together makes 5, so we do have enough for the tree. We just need to keep the Paradise Druid alive and the Lantern alive. The Baragoth can now go. I'm just worried about a Greater Hoof. But they don't have enough lands to make it work yet. Aetherflux. Alright, well, thankfully we need to win this turn coming up, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Doesn't matter. One, two, 4, 5, 6. And that's everyone. It is a party. They all have vigilance as well. Oh no, I wanted the damage to go through. Everyone concedes before I get to hit, like, you just let it go through at that point. They all are a lot. It's a lot. But thankfully, we were allowed to win before the Aetherflux Reservoir goes off. We got to see all the things go down, so that's fine. Just a big elf deck, so we were actually able to win against an elf deck being super fast, so I'm pretty happy with that. That is it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Let's take one last quick look at it. And so it is a lot of fun. You do have pretty explosive plays with it. It doesn't, sometimes, again, you have to find your pieces, right? And any jank deck, you need to find your combo pieces to make it work, but the Murray's Wake doubling so that I can get that World Tree out on turn 5 is really, really sweet. You can add your own combination of gods. Some of these aren't really needed, they just have really cool animation effects, and it didn't really matter what gods they have at that point, so I just picked the ones with the most fun animations. So you can make your own deck at home, but until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and bye YouTube!